Do you know what you want your retirement to look like? Do you know how much this is going to cost? Do you really we start with the end in mind, knowing what's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
Because
are you going to sell?
Exactly.
Franchise?
Are you creating legacy? Are you going to sell to your employees? Do you have children you're planning on selling it to? Do they have the same skill set that you do? All of those pieces come into play. And what we love to do is we help them create the structure.
This is Skya Jones, and thank you so much for listening to Last Client of the Day presented by Boulevard. I'm so excited to introduce our guest, Randi Rose, who is a co-founder of Thrive Business Services and an experienced accountant dedicating to helping businesses grow and succeed. As a certified coach for Inspiring Champions since 2008, she noticed that many salon and spa owners struggled with their understanding of their financials. Randi's mission is to make business owners fearless in their numbers. In 2014, Randi and her best friend, Gail Goldman, founded Thrive Business Services, a virtual bookkeeping and client accounting company. They provide businesses with easy access to reliable financial information. Randi also leads Inspiring Champions 3-day cash flow camp, helping owners increase cash flow and profit. Randi has always been passionate about education and development. At 23, she was recognized as the world's youngest seminar leader for landmark education and has since become a certified coach and life coach.
This episode is brought to you by Boulevard, the industry's first and only client experience platform. Boulevard is designed for the self-care community, helping businesses like yours unlock revenue, maximize efficiency, and deliver seamless experiences you and your clients will love. See for yourself why so many brands are making the switch. Head over to joinblvd.com/podcast to see a demo and get 10% off just for listening to today's podcast. Make your best investment yet. Go to joinblvd.com/podcast to learn more.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have such an amazing guest, and I'm so excited to talk to the beautiful Randi. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Skya, thank you first for having me on your podcast.
Oh, of course.
It's really an honor. Really appreciate it. I am someone who's really committed to people winning.
I love that.
I am very much committed to people winning. I have been in this industry in some form or fashion since 1999.
Wow.
When I first learned that there was an industry, because I did not know there was an industry. And I just fell in love with the people. This is one of those industries. You can make a lot of money in this industry. I do not want to say that you can't. You absolutely can. But it's one of those industries that you go into. Unlike, say finance, you go into this industry because you have a passion for it.
100%.
Right? You have a passion for it. Like, I have seen many people in this industry work for nothing, kind of like giving their time away, right?
Totally.
I fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with the people. And I've done coaching for business owners in this industry. I was a certified coach with Inspiring Champions. I am one of the primary leaders with Inspiring Champions for their cash flow camp program. I don't know that I'm really telling you who I am. I'm like, this is what I love it.
This is amazing. You're doing great. How did you become interested in the industry? How did you break into it, or what made you kind of want to get into it?
I like how you asked, how did I break into it? Just sheer luck. As it turned out, I had moved cross country from New York City to San Diego, and I met my best friend, who's also my business partner. Her name is Gail Goldman. Shout out to Gail.
Shout out Gail.
Woo! Gail's in the house. She's just hiding in the back. I needed a job, and she met somebody who needed someone who needed a job, right? They had a job. I needed one, and I've got some mad office skills. And she's like, hey, I think you should meet this person. So I wound up working with them, and what they did was they provided business education to at the time, we called it the day spa and salon industry.
Okay.
It is now expanded from there. And so I just kept growing inside of that company. And with my own background of being a trained coach and a trained leader, I lead courses. I've led seminars, like being a trained speaker. They were like, you should coach. I don't want to coach. They're like, you should coach. I don't want to coach. And then eventually it was, okay, you're coaching. So I just kind of went up the ladder, learning more and more and more. And my background's accounting. So I kind of like stepped over that part. My background, like, hi.
That's the building block.
Right, that's the building block.
Yeah,
so
the
my
fundamentals.
background is I know numbers. I love numbers.
That's huge because this industry, we don't really love numbers.
You really don't love numbers.
No.
But numbers tell a story. And numbers don't 100%. Have to be scary. Really, you don't want to put a pair of scissors in my hand. I know how to use a round brush. I know how to use a diffuser. It's kind of about it, right? So, but I know numbers, and I know how to teach somebody about numbers in a way that has it be not scary, accessible to them, and they can go, I now know what I can do with this. That just rocks my world.
Well, and that's so important because in this industry, people aren't generally comfortable with financial reporting, numbers, data, because that's not what comes naturally to them. When you go to cosmetology school, generally they're not teaching you business acumen. You know, you're learning the hard skills of how do I provide a service. And so I think for so many of us, it's like you just get into it and you don't really know. You're like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I don't really know what retirement's going to look like. I don't know how to do my taxes, but I'll just hope it goes okay.
Yes. And then at the end of the day, what happens, something happens and they're left holding a bag that's way bigger than they can handle.
100%.
Right. So we had an opportunity. So as I was coaching in the industry, I kept encountering people who didn't have good information. They did not have the business acumen. They did not have the financial acumen. They didn't have the financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had previously worked with Gail in her former iteration of her business. She had a QuickBooks consulting business.
Okay.
And here I am. I have an accounting degree and no QuickBooks. And I'm like, I got an opportunity to do something and it's kind of bigger than me. What do you think? And the opportunity was really to provide business education. It was really to provide bookkeeping and accounting services for this industry,
mm-hmm.
to really up-level the financial literacy, to really up-level what people are able to do so that they can retire, have the life that they want, have the work-life balance, get paid the same or more than what their employees were getting paid.
Or even be able to pay themselves at all.
Exactly. So that was really what started the whole ball rolling.
So that was the birth of Thrive Business Solutions.
That was the birth of Thrive Business Services. You are not the first person to say solutions.
I have dyslexia. I'm not good with letters or numbers. That's why I needed you guys.
A lot of people went to, I don't want to, this is not like a blanket statement. I have met very, very many savvy business owners, even financially savvy business owners.
Yeah.
But there are a number of people that went into the industry because they were creatives.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of us who are more creative that don't do well in maybe a traditional education setting and maybe struggled in school, cosmetology, aesthetics is so much more of a better fit than normal traditional college. And so a lot of people that do have that more creative mind, they don't do well sitting down in a classroom, they're going to go that direction and that feels more natural to them. So it makes sense, but you have to understand your numbers. You have to be able to have that financial literacy so you can have that long-term success.
Yeah. A lot of what we've found, or like, you know, as I've dealt with the industry, is that people are very good at what they do behind the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Really, they could be brilliant. They're really great at the money in. Bringing that money in, man, they are bomb at it.
Yeah.
Whether it's selling the retail, whether it's upselling, whatever that is, they're fantastic at it. But they're not necessarily having the same comfort level with where the money's going. So a lot of times they'll have too much month at the end of their money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, where did my money go?
Yep.
And the softwares that people use like Boulevard or the other software platforms really do a phenomenal job at dealing with the money in, the marketing, the inventory, like all of those pieces, but they're not necessarily designed to deal with the money out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those tools, I mean, I've used QuickBooks, and it's hard to learn if you aren't familiar with it and if you aren't taught it by somebody else, if you're just figuring it out by yourself. So I think a lot of people who are in the industry look at it and they're like, I don't get this. And then they can't spend the time when they're seeing clients for 8 hours a day.
I am the first person to say I love having a clean house and I hate cleaning. I would much rather work for a shorter amount of time and pay somebody else
who
100% likes to do that for me to, better use my time.
As a firm believer in Instacart, I can't stand going to the grocery store. I'm like, I'd rather work more hours and pay somebody to do it because I would rather have that time to do something else and just pay somebody to do what I'm not good at and what I don't enjoy.
Exactly. So.
And I think that's a big part of all business ownership or entrepreneurs is they have to delegate what they're not good at and kind of figure out, okay, I'm going to consult the experts on what I don't have expertise in and let them handle those aspects.
Yes. And there is something I want to say to that, though, because you're 100% accurate. But if you don't have transparency and you're just delegating something, how do you know that that who you've delegated to is trustworthy?
True.
How do you know?
That's a great point.
If there is some different action or strategy, if there's a pivot that I need to make, if that person is not A, being transparent and setting up a transparent structure for you, and B, educating you.
Yeah. Making sure that you understand what's going on the background so you're able to make educated decisions.
Yeah. I remember when the last hairdresser that I started with, she was like, well, bring in everything you got. They did a TikTok of it because I brought this giant satchel of stuff that I'd accumulated over the years. I didn't know that there was an expiration date on the bottom of things because that's usually where like the price tag goes.
Yeah.
So I never knew that there was like this 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Oh yeah, they just had a field day tossing all my crap.
Yeah, it sucks. If you don't use it, you got to give it away within the first couple months.
But they had to educate me. They were like, okay, this is what you need to keep. This is what you need to keep. This is what you need to keep. And this is how you use it.
And you're like, great, I'll take that information and now I can do it.
Absolutely.
I love that. What are some trends that you're seeing? You've been in the industry for so long. Are there shifts or changes happening?
I do see a couple. Prices have gone up.
Totally.
And so business owners are looking at what are the different ways that they can recoup some of their bottom line.
Costs. Yeah.
Their costs, exactly. And one of the trends that we're seeing, and technology has caught up for it, is sharing credit card fees with clients.
Yeah, we have a feature at Boulevard called Offset. And I know since we released it, our customers and users have absolutely loved it because it is so expensive to provide these services. And so the big trend is passing those fees along to the consumer, the client of the business, to be able to help that business stay in healthy profit margins.
Absolutely. So it might not feel like a lot, but let's say you'd pay $400 for your service. And for a lot of your clients, they pay more than that.
Yeah.
And some people, it's less than that. But let's say it's $400. The client is going to pay $12. Let's say at 3%.
Yep.
If I'm already paying $400, $12 is not really going to make the decision as to me changing my location, changing my service provider.
Most people won't even look. Like all the fees that we pay on concert tickets, plane tickets, all of these different things add up so quick. I think now we're kind of jaded to it a little bit of like, you're just used to seeing fees. So.
Yeah, we are. We've gotten a little numb to it. But if your focus is on customer service and the customer's experience, then they're not going to question that 3%. Totally. But if you're $1 million business, 3% is $30,000 over the course of the year.
And that makes a huge difference.
Which makes a huge difference. So when you're looking at, that's one of the places, right?
Yeah.
I always have to catch myself. I say right and then answer my own question.
No, that's...
Another trend is compensation reform.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. And people, we're just going to deal with a commission location, med spa, whatever.
Yeah.
You're really not going to have a hybrid in a med spa.
Mm-hmm.
But you will in a salon, in a spa,
Totally.
etc. It's very easy to go open up your own suite. It's very easy to go open up, I'm going to do my own little thing. But then they lose that connection. They lose the community. They lose what you get inside of a team environment.
Mm-hmm.
However, people they want benefits. They want vacation. They want PTO. They want to be rewarded for loyalty, for longevity. So there really is, compensation is no longer just, okay, great, let's just do a commission.
Yeah.
Or whether it's a team-based pay or an hourly, they'll just now they want to connect it to different metrics or different benchmarks of people's performances.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good way of incentivizing, more of a team feel, is things like those team bonus structures where you can incentivize your employees to be working with, hey, I'm going to refer you over to this provider that specializes in this, and they're going to do great at this service. So then you're sharing those clients amongst providers. They're trying out different services. They're buying packages and memberships that are shared like across the business and not specific to just one provider. So I've seen that as a huge trend.
Yes, team-oriented, team-based pay, team clients has been very big.
Yeah. And I think too, the other aspects of what you're talking about with benefits, it's, people, especially since COVID, I think people were like, hey, I want to know I have, if I get sick, I have PTO to cover that if something happens, if I need surgery. And for so long in this industry, there hasn't been that concern. It's kind of been like, well, if you get hurt and you break your arm, you're kind of screwed. Whereas now it's like, okay, let's make sure we have insurance in place so you're taken care of. And in some states, like maternity leave still isn't even a requirement. So it's like service providers, there's some places where it's really risky for those providers.
Yes. It can be. And we're in California. So California requires certain things.
They're definitely the first of the kind of frontier of making sure people are taken care of. I feel like whenever you refer to California companies, usually they're doing the best as far as benefits and pay goes and making sure they're following guidelines and rules.
Yes. But there's different things that you can offer and provide that isn't necessarily just, okay, great, I do my service, here's my paycheck. I do my service, here's my paycheck. Yeah. So that's one of the trends. That's one of the other trends that I've seen a good amount of.
Yeah, incentivizing based on like different performance metrics. How much are you utilized in the business?
Yes, that's a whole other one. So technology, like I said before, technology has now caught up. Mm-hmm. And now the business people are catching up sometimes to the changes in the technology. So like when I started in the industry, I think 10% of the people had email addresses.
Wow.
1999, baby.
It's a good year. That's the year I was born.
Is that the year you were born?
Best year ever.
So 1999. But come 2008 and you have the iPhone, everything is now done. You couldn't imagine. Do you get any mail other than, you don't probably normally get bills by mail. You just get solicitations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't check my mail really, other than to throw away the ads and different things you get in there. So
the other trend is using other softwares, say like Vish.
100%.
Because you can really have control over your profit. Where is your money going? Where is your money going?
And it automates so much of the inventory process that prior would have been manual, and you could have lost out on profits because it's eyeballed. People don't really know. You're just guessing. You're hoping it's accurate.
It walks out the door.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the other trend is really people. I don't know that any business that doesn't use some salon software.
You have to have, you have to have technology. Like no one's calling and scheduling on pen and paper anymore. Like there were days when people were like, this is my schedule and this is my calendar. And if that got lost, they didn't know what was happening. And now
I am that old.
I remember I've seen it, but I think now it's, it's almost an expectation from clients that they can go online and schedule. They don't even have to pick up their phone and call, and they can do it within a few clicks.
Without question. And they want to be able to do it on their phone, whether they want to do it with an SMS, they want to do it via text. They're not interested in, do I have to go to a desktop? Do I click on? I don't want to log in. They want everything to be right at their fingertips. So that's really the other trend is this is one of the other pieces. So front desk is one of the other pieces. It's with COVID, every technology ramped up a little bit faster. With COVID, it would have gotten there anyway, but it kind of got forced to be done a lot quicker. And so you now have a lot more cashless, a lot more touchless.
Contactless check-in.
A lot more contactless. So I've looked, we have clients that work with Boulevard, and everything can be done right there in the program. Like, you don't even need a person. Not that it's bad to have a person.
Yeah, but we see that
a
as
lot
a trend.
pricier.
We see it trending. Is that like, how can we remove inefficiency, whether it be, hey, you don't need somebody at the front desk all the time. So during slow hours, maybe, we're having contactless check-in. So it's definitely trending in that direction.
Yes. And then we want to make sure that that front desk that you do have there is its own profit center.
Yeah. That they're upselling. They're working with the clients for enhancements, add-ons, retail sales.
Making next appointments, really making sure that that customer experience is
next level.
Next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think that's really the direction, is more front desk is transitioning to almost like an in-house sales expert or consultant. And I've even seen, especially in med spas, where they're going in after the provider walks through what the client needs, and they're pitching packages and memberships. That way the provider can move on to the next client. The front desk or sales manager is scheduling, checking out, and then taking care of the client from there. So
absolutely,
it's definitely shifting from that traditional just front desk answering the phone.
Very much so. Very, very much so.
This episode is brought to you by Boulevard, the first and only client experience platform purpose-built for appointment-based self-care businesses. Today's listeners can save 10%. To claim your special offer, head over to joinboulevard.com/podcast. That's joinblvd.com/podcast.
What advice would you give to someone, let's say they're opening their business and they want to have it set up for long-term financial success, they want to be able to retire or sell? What advice would you give to them?
Right from the beginning, have a pulse on your numbers.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. Don't think, oh, I can wait. I'm too small for this.
Yeah.
Oh, heck no.
I'll do it next year.
It's one of those things, what you put your attention on really does expand. And so when you don't put your attention on it, it expands in the opposite direction, potentially.
Yeah, and it can get out of control.
Very much so. We have a client, I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
We have a client, they opened up, as it turns out, they opened up during COVID. They were postponed. They were opened up during COVID. And
wow.
It was sort of like, okay.
Yeah, that's a really hard time to open up.
It was a very hard time to open up. They were in New York City, so they had some major restrictions. And it was a high-end salon. Right from the beginning, they had a pulse on their numbers. So they knew exactly they had to deal with their EIDL, their PPP, all of the things that everybody needed to deal with in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But because they've always had a pulse on their numbers, they started with us right from the beginning. And what we were able to do for them wasn't just, okay, let's track the money in and the money out. We were able to work with them on the questions that they asked were things like, how many hours of front desk can I afford?
Which you're like, oh, great.
I can do that for you.
Yeah.
They didn't know how necessarily to calculate that simply.
Yeah.
We were able to do that simply. Or there's, let me know if I get too deep on this one.
No, I love this.
There's, when you have, like, say, December, you have a lot of money that comes in, but it doesn't get paid out until January. you can't really look at your books from a straight, what they call cash basis, because your revenue's coming in one period and your expenses are going out in another period. So we worked with them we have a management sheet tool that we worked with, that we created, basically, that really just got created by answering the client's questions, because all the clients have the same questions. So let's just create a tool here.
Yeah, let's just give them the resource.
Let's just do that. And so that they could see really what was their compensation percentage of their income producing staff versus their not income producing staff versus their management team versus, here's the bigger one, you asked the question about people being able to retire. Their financial information has the owner's information broken out.
Wow.
Okay, because one of the first questions that a business broker is going to ask, how much of the revenue is being brought in by the owner? And if you don't have that information laid out and you're not doing, and the owner is the big hitter, right? The owner is the thoroughbred, but the owner's not getting paid what everybody else is getting paid because there isn't enough cash to do that.
Exactly.
So it totally skews the information. And then someone thinks, well, my business is worth this, and they learn the truth.
Yeah, if someone else came in and was being paid fairly for what you're producing,
would you still be profitable? Nope.
The numbers are completely flipped.
Completely flipped. So you asked, I think the question you originally asked was, if someone were starting a business, what would I tell them? Definitely be on top of your numbers, but also know what your end goal is.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that people forget in this industry, is really planning for, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I'm going to do this till the day that I die. And it's like really? No. You want to retire, go to Mexico, live on a beach, drink margaritas. You don't want to have to worry about you being on time for your client every day for the rest of your life.
Correct. And and there's even more to it than just that. Do you know what you want your retirement to look like? Do you know how much this is going to cost? Do you we start with the end in mind, knowing what's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
Because
are you going to sell?
Exactly.
Franchise?
Are you creating legacy? Are you going to sell to your employees? Do you have children you're planning on selling it to? Do they have the same skill set that you do? All of those pieces come into play. And what we love to do is we help them create the structure so that they can go do what they do, and we can build a structure for them and then educate them. So there's nothing that we would do that they wouldn't know about, but they don't, just like you don't want to give me a pair of scissors, you wouldn't necessarily want to say, okay, great, here is your information. Now go provide it to your, right? Like, here, go do your taxes. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, no, let the professional handle the taxes. Yeah, I think it's so important for people to prepare for that end game, even if they don't know exactly what it looks like. Because when you're just getting started, even if it's just yourself, and even if you're just in a studio, you still want to plan for a future that you want to live, and you want to be able to make decisions in the beginning, like having your numbers. There's so many people that have gotten to the end of their careers and been great producers of income, but they don't have a way to show, okay, how can I make money? How can I sell this or create a legacy that's going to be beneficial for me?
Yeah, we really want people to work with the right professionals that educate them along 100%. The way.
Yeah.
We relate to ourselves as shepherds of the journey. So
that's a beautiful description.
Thank you. We are the shepherds of your business's journey. It's not so much here's what's happened, but then there's what are you dealing with right now? And then where is it that you want to get to? And it really is creating that plan, because not everything has to happen all at once.
Yeah.
But
it's a process.
It very much so. And who you're going to be 5 years into being a business owner is not going to be the same person that you're going to be when you first start out.
It changes and you evolve so much, I feel like.
Without question. So we have seen, and we consider we're your trusted advisor. We're not going to be your only trusted advisor. We actually don't do taxes. So we do controller work, we do bookkeeping,
Mm-hmm.
we do your internal accounting, but we don't do the actual taxes. We leave that to the CPAs
Yeah.
because that's what they focus on.
That's their level.
That's
their
jam.
field.
That is their wheelhouse.
So
That is their
fun.
lane.
So fun doing taxes.
I don't do my own taxes. I have a degree in accounting and I don't do my own taxes.
That's saying a lot because I do my own taxes and I don't feel like I should be. And I feel like this is eye-opening. I should probably be paying somebody else to do it.
The moment I bought rental property, I was like, I'm out.
You're like,
Not my real. I don't know.
CPAs.
I don't know. That's what my CPA is for. Do you have a financial advisor? Do you have somebody that's looking at what your goal is? You want to have your team of people that really work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to buy more team than you're ready for.
Definitely.
So there are solutions out there like ours that will scale with you and grow with you as you evolve on your journey.
Yeah, and more accessible to businesses that don't have the budget to bring someone on full-time in-house where it doesn't make sense,
Mm-hmm.
but then they're still able to access that level of expertise and support.
Exactly.
So it's so important. I would love to hear you've told us some great stories, but we've been asking all of our guests if they have a story, whether it's heartwarming, funny, embarrassing, a story that's just a good kind of message of the industry or like reminder of the industry.
You know, I was looking at that. I was like, there's so many.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many.
I'm sure.
There really are. I was like, ooh. I mean, we had one that was a true bookkeeping emergency. Rarely will you ever have a bookkeeping emergency.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
You want to hear that one?
Yeah, I want to hear what a bookkeeping emergency is.
A bookkeeping emergency, we had a client, we are their accounting department. And we had a client that their manager got caught doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing. And it started to make its way onto social media. And so the reason it was a bookkeeping emergency was because we processed their payroll. And so they needed to be fired immediately.
Yeah.
And so while we didn't do that work, we introduced them to an HR attorney who could provide them the guidance that they needed.
Give them the language.
Could give them everything, the
verbiage.
language, dot the I's, cross the T's. Our job, we just need to give you your final check.
Yep.
That was the only true bookkeeping emergency I have ever experienced because that was timely.
Oh, 911.
Total 911. Yeah. I literally took that phone call while I was on vacation.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you call me as soon as this happened? They're like, you're on vacation. I don't care.
You're like, this is
911. 911. The person who calls me and says, hey, I'm buying a house and my mortgage broker, they need my financials through, for this year and last year. But they never told us that they were in the process and they're a quarterly client or they're like not giving us the information. Like, I haven't talked to you in 3 months and now your lack of planning is my emergency.
Not an emergency.
Not an emergency.
Don't call on vacation for that.
No,
AKA.
Do not call on vacation for that. Someone gets caught with something else, you can definitely call me on vacation.
Well, and you want to know the tea. You want to know if there's drama.
It was, yeah. We have so that was,
That's a good story. I mean, that's a good bookkeeping, like have to cut the payroll off. Especially if manager was doing something they weren't supposed to.
Really weren't supposed to.
As we wrap up today, if you had to give a definition to success, how would you describe it?
Well, the name of our company is Thrive Business Services. And the definition of thrive or to thrive is to flourish and prosper. So the name of our business, Thriving, is really, for me, my definition of success, but inside of a work-life balance.
100%. What you said when you first sat down and we first started talking was, I love helping people succeed. And I think that's so full circle for you. You want to see people's long-term success, want to see them grow and flourish.
If what you're doing doesn't resonate with your heart and your passion, take a look.
See what speaks to you.
See what really speaks to you. Because if you are working 60 hours a week, but you have money in the bank, what aren't you able to do? because you're working that 60 hours a week. That would really make your heart sing and fill your cup.
Yeah. And life's short. So you want to make sure your cup's
Life's really
full.
short. Life's really short.
Well, it's been so much fun and so insightful talking to you. How can our listeners find you?
They can find us on our website. So I'm going to spell this out. It's 3 words. It's Thrive Business Services, all spelled out. So my suggestion when I type it in is I always capitalize the first of each word because there's 3 S's in a row. I don't know who the heck thought this one out. So it's
a lot of S's.
It's a lot of S's. It's Thrive, THRIVE, Business, BUSINESS, Services, SERVICES.net.
Perfect.
And you can always email me. Very easy. My email is Randi, which is RANDI @thrivebusinessservices.net.
Beautiful.
Do I give my phone number on here too?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, good.
I mean, no, we usually hold off from phone numbers, social security numbers.
Oh, good. No social security
numbers.
numbers.
I gave out my year of birth earlier. We might have to cut that.
No, we're not going to do that. We have an Instagram.
Perfect.
We
have
socials.
LinkedIn.
We have Facebook. So socials are the way to go.
Follow you guys on socials.
Yes, please.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
And we are so grateful for you giving this information to our listeners.
You are absolutely welcome. Your listeners are absolutely welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Thanks, Randi.
You're welcome, Skaya.